Hello, good evening, and welcome to another edition of the CantinaMX podcast. We are broadcasting live on Thursday night. It is the night of the first leg of Clausura. It's the final between Tigres and the León, the number one and number two seeds are going right now. Tigres is leading 1-0 in the second half has just started. So we would like to have y'all's feedback and commentary during the match live on our YouTube page, and we'll try and get to it. But as always, joining me from California is Joel Aceves. Joel, how are you, sir?
Doing good, Yon.
Excellent.
Enjoying.
You and Chiquis were holding on the fort there for a couple of weeks when we had some folks on vacation and work and jobs. You
Yes, sir.
Did a really good job, and I got to tell you, Joel, I really agree with that thing you said about that guy, about that team. I thought it was. I couldn't have said it better myself.
It made sense. Yes.
Yeah, it did. It put it all into perspective for us. So I do appreciate. Yeah, and that's the kind of commentary that you should and folks that have been listening to this podcast now for going on 4 years can certainly that is the kind of commentary that you come to expect, love, and.
Yeah, we've been 4 years.
And a third one there. Yeah, but yeah, exactly. So
4 years and one World Cup under our belts now.
That's right. And this will be our third Gold Cup coming up in a few weeks. So we'll be discussing that.
Will you be attending, John?
Joel, I just put in a pass to go to Charlotte, North Carolina.
What match is that?
That'll be Mexico against Martinique.
Oh, the mighty Martinique.
And
it'll be quite the matchup.
Indeed. And Canada plays somebody.
Excuse me?
Canada plays somebody. I forget who they were.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Cuba. Canada plays Cuba. So that'll
You've
be
seen that one too?
That'll be the antesala, and then it'll be Mexico.
Oh, doble jornada.
Yeah.
I forgot they did those.
Joel, I'm not gonna lie. I just had a shot of Nacho Ambriz, and as the music stays, Nacho's wearing some like really tight pants. It's very interesting.
Tighter than Palencia.
Then on the same. Well, see, Palencia was wearing like yoga pants, like dancers' tights. It was as tight, if it got tighter than skinny jeans. They used to coach Santos. But anyway, I digress. So I think this is up 1-0, Joel. It's been a very just a very well played, entertaining match. Goalies were making plays on both sides. Defenders making plays.
It was Quignac's goal. He's now level with Thomas Boy. So either in this final or in next season, he should be the Tigers' all-time leading goal.
Well, he could do it in this game. He could do it in this game. Yeah. That is pretty amazing that in such a short period of time. Gignac came into Liga MX in 2015. Or was it 2014? I think it was 2015. And so that is 4 seasons. So he's averaged 25 goals a season.
Yeah, I saw his goal. It seemed fortunate at first glance. The ball rebounds and he's right there to slot it in. But I was watching the replay and he positioned himself well right there. Completely lost his marker. It was, I don't know, staring at the stands. But he did well to get in that spot.
Got caught ball watching.
Excuse me?
As you say, the defender got caught ball watching.
Oh, I don't know, but I think León is holding their own, and we should see another very intense matchup.
Right.
But it looks like Tigres wants that one more goal before they return to the Lions' temple.
The Lions' Den.
Yes.
The Coliseum. The no cap now. Joel, in the final Liga MX, it's not like the first 2 rounds where the first tiebreaker is away. So here it's just cumulative total. So the first tiebreaker is the score, and if they're still tied at the end of 180, they go to extra time, regardless of home away position in the standings. It doesn't matter. It's just the first tiebreaker is the score. After that, they go out again. So what I'm trying to say is that there are no tiebreakers other than.
I'm gonna have to hold you on to something, Jon.
What's that?
You had told us that Leon was going to have the curse of the.
No, I said it was possible.
Liderato.
I did not say it was going to happen.
You said it was just possible.
No, I think I did say that, and I was waiting for a friend of the show, Luis Velasquez, who, as you all know, is a big Leon supporter.
Yeah.
In fact, he showed me his stomach once. It was great. I'm not gonna lie, it was great. It was great.
Yeah. No, this is pretty good game, and anything could still happen.
You know how in Game of Thrones they had grayscale?
Yeah.
Leon fans get green scale on their stomach.
They get green scale.
Truly,
that makes sense. Panzas verdes.
When they truly, when they decide that Leon is their team.
Chilean player limping off of the field. Doesn't look too good.
He's getting on the ice cream truck. He's getting on the that means that Tuca is going to have to, they're only like 9 deep at forward at Tigres. So.
They're only. Who?
See, Gignac can said, "Hey man, I'm not gonna lie, you look good in those pants." To Nacho.
Nacho. Okay, so I don't recognize this guy coming in there, Jon.
That's Ener Valencia. He's the Ecuadorian.
Okay, yeah. See, shows how much I've been paying attention.
Well, I mean, like I said, you did. You obviously been paying attention enough to talk about that thing about that guy on the team last week.
Yes, true. That important thing
insightful. Yeah, and just really, like I said, just really put things into perspective for me. Listening to the CantinaMX podcast. I was on vacation, Joel. I was in. My wife and I went to Destin, Florida. When our batteries are low, we need sun, sand, and water. And so that's those.
Yes, I noticed the pictures on Instagram, Jon. Good stuff.
Thank you. Some of those I didn't even have to mess around with the post.
No filters.
No filters. No, we had a really, really, really. Honestly, we're in Florida, which is, humid like Houston, especially on the coast, and it was like a desert. It was bone dry. It was just no humidity at all. It was like 80 degrees. It was like, I guess, what you would call Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah, they're in Los Angeles, but it was really nice. We got really lucky, and the water wasn't particularly warm. It was.
Oh, it's good stuff. Good stuff.
Se venía encogiendo un poco.
Oh man, you know what? I'm seeing the game and doesn't seem like Tigres, has an answer to this so far. I mean, Leon, I should say.
Well,
Leon is looking to, to break this lock. This defensive lock, and we have to wonder if Macias would have been that key, but they sent him out to the Under-20 World Cup.
I got to tell you, JJ Macias played a standing match tonight. He was clearly their best player, and he had really good chances. Well, he took some really good shots. Places where the goalie was going to have to make a pretty good save to save it, and the goalie.
Yes.
It was very unfortunate for
Yeah, I managed to catch the second half, and I was disappointed with Mexico's playing style. Just I felt that they weren't playing up to their strengths, and too many long passes, too many long balls against a very physical Italian side. It looked like adults playing against kids. These guys were huge, man. And
they were shaking off guys left and right. And to me, the guy that I thought that probably shouldn't be playing as much right now just because he hasn't been playing that much right now. It's dangerous. His season just ended last week, and he spent 2 months not playing.
Yeah.
So at least the U20 guys, most of them, if they're not, most of them aren't playing on the senior side, so they're still playing on the U side. So that means that they're playing every week. So those guys are. So I think the playing Lainez, in my opinion, was a mistake. I'm not saying don't play him at all, but bring him on in the second half. Because he was grabbing, and it would have been a nice little, let him get himself back in the punch.
Yeah, and this was an Italian side that was missing they were missing like 2 or 3 of their key players. I just felt Mexico missed, I would say, the coach. I'll put that on the coach. I think his plan was just not the adequate one against a team like this.
Ooh, Gignac just had a chance to set up. I mean, he's still. I shot, and I don't blame him. Who would you rather shoot in the air in the 18 if you're thinking this man? Gignac or Aki?
Here comes the replay.
You're gonna take Gignac every time.
Yeah, the saying, Yon, that the strikers in the box, they have to be selfish. Say the good striker is selfish in the box.
I'm okay. And frankly, I'm okay. That's his job. I'm totally okay with it.
Yeah.
But
no, that dude was locked in on goal. I don't think he saw his teammate. It's just instinctual when they hit it, and a lot of times even when they hit it, they're not even looking at the porteria because they already have a good mental, image of where they're at.
Right. Now we are live on our YouTube page. Live as we speak on the YouTube page.
En vivo y en directo.
Indeed. And
so Mexico, they could say they're in a group of death at the Under-20 World Cup, and there won't be any easy games. Something we talked about in the previous pod. All of these teams finished top in first or second of their respective qualifying groups. So even Japan should prove strong, and Ecuador, I believe they've won out of the CONMEBOL, which is finishing ahead of teams like Argentina and Brazil. It says a lot. So, but who knows, man? Those playing styles of some of those teams might benefit Mexico more.
Well, we have I don't know how many levels of chats you have, but I'm on. We have the Cantina chat. We have another chat with some other folks, and that's the depth of my chattiness. And I can't remember if it was Pichichi or if it was Colasso. He said I don't care about the result. I just want to see how the team played. And
yes.
if we're basing, want to make conclusions on that, then I think Mexico is terrible. They're really bad. I mean, seriously. I mean, really.
No, completely agree.
You cannot give a team like Italy, or frankly any top 10 team on the planet, whoever it is. Italy, they may not have made the World Cup or whatever. They're still a top 10 team. However, I mean, it's just it is what it is. You just cannot give them that much space and compact yourself. Well, you can't be as compact offensively as they are, and as loose defensively as they are against a team like that. And that's just what I don't understand. It's like, how on earth do these guys think that they're going to get? Yeah, just. I mean, I don't know how many times in that match Italy would make up just a rolling loose little pass to a guy who's wide open, running, 4 yards of empty space, just constant. Because Mexico's lines are so, they're so far apart. They just have no. Yeah, it was bad. It was very bad.
And John, what could be worrisome is that we're missing our director de juveniles and the sporting director, Dennis the Menace to close. who I felt would have eventually. I don't know. I don't know if he would have had a hand in probably getting some of the players we needed more called in, but I know he would eventually got it right with the coaching.
Right. Well, like I said, I think Yon de Luisa is, he's a sports guy first, which is good. Teclos wasn't his guy, and that's fine. He's trying to make Torrados. And Torrado right now is the one who is going to, and Memo Cantu's out there, which frankly I'm totally okay with. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. But to have an inexperienced coach like Diego Ramirez go up against, Italy looked like. Have you ever noticed like the Italian coach and his staff? Wouldn't they look more at home if you put like a little cafe table there in the coach's box so they could all sit around and sip an espresso while they're read the paper while they're watching the game?
Certainly did seem that way, John.
And so they were outclassed from the first second of the game. And it was a little disappointing, but again individually, I think Macias obviously had a great game. And then that kid came in, Figueroa, the little güerito, and he was pretty good.
Yes, sir. Well, 2 more days, we'll see. We'll see if Mexico can bounce around. As you said in one of the chats, all it takes is 1 draw and 1 win. That could be good enough. So Mexico still has a chance, even though stats-wise, losing the first game usually, I forgot what percentage it drops.
Yeah, but that's, remember, in the 32 team tournament, I would agree with you.
Yeah.
But in a 2014 tournament where 4 third-place teams go in.
I forgot about those.
Yeah.
I forgot about those, John. John always with the fun facts. Well, 20 minutes left for the Lions to try to claw one back. I think they have it in them, but Tigres just seems that much more stronger.
Well, again, this is a 180-minute game, and the second half is going to be played in León. And outside of Tigres, I think that the León has the best atmosphere in Liga MX.
Yes, and Tigres seems very determined because in the past we've seen them how they lost championships because they didn't take advantage of the home field. They weren't as aggressive, and the 2 big games that stick out for me was the Libertadores final against River Plate, and then also when they played against Chivas. What was it in 2017?
Right.
So yeah, those 2 where they were at home, I felt that's where they lost the series, and they're closing out at the Lions Den. So where León is gonna, they should be pumped up a bit more, maybe rebuild their final form. But I think Tigres wants that 1 more goal. Even the goal advantage will help them. But I think they know that with the 2-goal lead, they could go into that match, more calm.
Yeah, well, I think that's where the Sargento comes into play, because I think that he would rather, going down 1 is a lot. I don't think that he would want to. He understands that, and I think that he was going to make it a very determined effort for his side not to give up that second goal. So, 1-0 to me is nothing. 2-0, I think, is obviously a little tougher. But remember, Tigres, when they played Pumas in 2015, won 3-0. And then Pumas won the second leg 3-0. They had to go to extra time.
Yeah, that was a crazy match. I remember that.
That would have been the most. I mean, probably it's hard to say fulfilling, but certainly like sweet, just because it would have come out of nowhere for Pumas to win that time.
Yeah.
And it had to take a Gignac like a 3-volley wonder goal to beat him. But I think if I'm not mistaken, Herrera scored. He scored an equalizer. They had to go there. They went to penalties. They did go to penalties. And by that point, Pumas was spent. But it was. And then we came within a post, kind of like Gignac hit the post in the Eurocopa, and they ended up losing Herrera. A game with of equal stature. The Liga MX final, Herrera hit the post and did not get the win for Pumas. That would, frankly, I'm actually kind of, if that would have happened, that would have been, I think Tuca would probably have been canned because you can't give up a 3-goal lead in a final. You just can't. But Tuca did pull it out.
Yes, the Toucan who is at the end of his tenure here with Tigres. I would have to say, I wonder if he wins this league title, if he would just hang in the boots.
No, because he's got a contract for 1 more year, man. Tuca.
No, I know, but even though, you could leave on top. You could leave on top, say, okay, I did it my way.
Leave on top whether he wins a title.
Plain, I did it my way, John. See, I think, no, but just that to me would be something else, to leave as a champion, just having achieved that. Unless he wants to win that other cup that's being promoted, that MLS Liga MX Cup. Campeones Cup. I forgot what it's being called.
I like the fact that they're doing something. I think doing a little tournament to me, I think is just pointless. It's if you're going to play MLS, then have the league play the league. Have both leagues play each other, not just like 4 pre-selected teams.
Yeah, no, I agree, but they have to start somewhere, Jon. They keep restarting doing this thing.
Yeah, but they're starting and doing the exact same thing every time.
They just changed the name of the tournament.
Yeah,
we package it different. It's the same thing, though.
New and improved.
Yeah.
The way I see it, Joel, is that in the first half of the year they're not playing the Conca Champions. By the way, the way that Copa MX is set up as well, Joel, it is screaming that we're going to play another tournament.
Yes.
Because they're doing 3 groups of 9, so that means you're only playing 4. You're playing 4 games from July to December.
Yeah, and hopefully just 1 cup a year starts making it more prestigious.
Exactly.
I certainly hope so.
Yeah. So if they have such, I think Aquino's done. He just got that's pretty rough. I don't know if I want to see this. Oh, he just stepped back. Thank goodness. Yeah.
Yes.
I hope it's not his Achilles, man. I think it might be his Achilles.
So you said they were 9 deep at striker, but at Aquino's spot, John, when they have.
Are you kidding? Joel, the next savior of Chivas is about to come on.
The next savior of Chivas?
Yeah, there he is. You can't miss him. You can't miss him. I mean, he comes on the field and you know exactly who it is.
Oh, Mr. Dam.
That's right.
I've been hearing noises about that since last year. I don't know. I mean, this is Boy's team, and it seems like they are trying to bring the players that he wants. So it does seem like Chivas placed some faith in Tomas and El Jefe Boy. So we'll see what he has
I'll
in
tell you what,
stock.
man. If I were Tomas Boy, I would take this opportunity at Chivas to make a play for coaching the national team. Because if Chivas ever gets good and plays well and gets 30-something points, they don't have to win the Liguilla every time, but make consistently be a semifinal team. That is the base of the Mexican national.
No, yeah, and I definitely
Period.
think that's probably in the back of his mind.
Yeah.
He is in the limelight right now. He did help. He had some bad luck, Mr. Boy. He had a good stint at Atlas where he helped him fend off relegation, and then he was at Cruz Azul, and that team was doing good up until he got in a scuffle. And I still, still can't remember who it was with. If it was with the reporter or with the fan, but the team just toppled after that. It's like Boy forgot about coaching the team, and he seemed to be fighting the press on a daily.
Right. Well, that's just who he is.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah. Well, so he definitely has an opportunity in front of him. I'm probably the only person on the planet who doesn't really mind Tomas Boy as a coach, just because I know who he was as a player, and if he can instill any of that in his team, then then he's doing a good job.
Well, he's gonna have to, man, because this coming season, Grupo Orlegui took over Atlas, and people are expecting Atlas to have something to get that Santos treatment.
Okay, so explain this to me, Juan. Maybe I'm trying to make sense. Right, so let's talk about what's happened. So, Grupo, is it Ortegui or Orlegui?
Orlegui.
Orlegui. Anyway, so Grupo Orlegui did not purchase Atlas. Atlas is still owned by TV Azteca.
What?
They just outsourced the day-to-day operations of the team to this group. I believe that's correct.
I thought they completely purchased them because they cleaned house. Even Marquez got the boot, and I know he did a statement saying how he needed to go prepare himself and he was stepping down. But the news had leaked that Orlegui already had all their people in place to cover pretty much every position.
Well, it would make more sense if they were sold, but for some reason I had it in my head, and it could be because I'm getting older.
I will need to reread that statement, Yon,
that they outsourced. That they technically still own the team.
Yeah, because it does say they have complete control. But then again, that's kind of what happened when what was it, La Promotora was controlling Chivas.
Right.
They had complete control of the team.
But who owned the team?
So I have it right here.
All right. So am I crazy? I don't want to get people.
I think you are, sir.
Okay. Good.
Unless my reading comprehension is not what it used to. But this is the TV Azteca press release, and it says TV Azteca logra acuerdo con Grupo Orlegui para que este sea el nuevo propietario de Atlas FC.
So new owner.
Yeah.
Okay. So doesn't that seem weird to you that they're so now they have a team, another group that owns two
teams. But this is the part that, because see, I didn't read past that, Yon.
Okay. All right. So
here goes. Bajo el acuerdo, la administración y operación del equipo, así como la definición de la estrategia comercial y deportiva, serían asumidas por Grupo Orlegui. Por su parte, and there's the other part, TV Azteca obtendrá una participación minoritaria en el capital social de una subsidiaria de Grupo Orlegui. I guess they're keeping what they own just a small percentage. I guess they still own like a bit of the team.
Well,
I'm guessing
I'm guessing they still own a lot of the team.
You think it's more?
They're just I said, I think they're just outsourcing. They're just outsourcing.
Yeah, but I mean, I think one of the things they would want, because that was what surprised me about the sale, is that, having these teams means that you get to have their games on your station.
Right. Well, I think the thing is with this particular one is that I think that they realize that Atlas is like a gold mine, but they have no idea how to.
Yes, especially at the youth level, which is what Santos has been doing with their youth.
Right.
And between the two teams now, they're going to have even more, they should be selling more players pretty soon.
I mean, we make fun of Atlas all the time, but you know better than I do that they're, if they're in the right hands, it could be a pretty scary team.
Yeah, they were. They already were at one point. We should look into what happened to that team. I don't know how they, what they had started under Bielsa and how they set up the whole scouting system and the good youth coaches that they had. They had just done a really great job, and that was a really good team that La Volpe got to coach, and they reached the final, and then slowly it just chipped away, and then there was nothing left there, just memories, fading memories, Jon.
Ouch. Somebody was talking about comparing NFL teams to Liga MX today.
Oh.
I mentioned that Atlas is like the Lions, Browns, and what was the other team? The team that had something forever. Jets. Yeah, Lions, Browns, and Jets all rolled into one as far as futility.
Ouch.
And, I wish it was not true, but it is. I mean, it is what it is. But I do think that Atlas is one of those teams that being in the city where they are, in the right hands, can be a pretty dangerous team. But you're right, though. I mean, out of that group, obviously Rafa Marquez came out of that. Daniel Sordo, I thought was the Tapatio version of Cuau, and was for many years. Really great player.
Yeah, Marquez and Guardado, and they had Oswaldo Sanchez. Borghetti.
Never understood.
They had some.
Came out of that too. That's right.
Yeah, and all of those guys became key players with the selección and went on to forge.
Was Pardo part of that? Or was he an American guy?
No, I think Pardo came out of Tecos. Let me double check there.
I thought he was part of the Atlas Mafia.
Oh, you're right. He was, but then he played at Tecos. He joined America after Tecos.
Right.
So you're right. He was at Atlas. And then he played one season at Tecos before joining America. And then he went to Stuttgart. Yeah, I mean, just all those names. Just all of those names, man, are they're all candidates for a best 11 selección.
Sure, yeah. I never understood Juan, and maybe you can explain it because I thought you had your finger on the pulse of the team back then a little better than I did. But why didn't Daniel Osorno be? I mean, he was a part of the process even through Copa America in 2001, and then just disappeared. It wasn't part of the process at all. He just was never going to be on the World Cup.
Yeah, I don't remember if he had an injury or just really bad drop in form.
But then he comes back in 2003 and does the same thing. It's just...
Yeah, well, game winding down, Jon. 87th minute. Tigres still holding on to that 1-0 lead. Leon I guess not a bad result for León, but you are going up against favorites Tigres. They are favorites in the betting pool. Um, but I would say though for Tigres, very unexpected and a very good season overall.
Yeah, absolutely. For both teams, really. Leon had the record. Tigres. People seem to forget, Joel, that Tigres had 33 points. So they were second. So they weren't. They didn't have that bad a season, Tigres.
No, and they were playing 2 tournaments.
They were, which is what an extra 8 matches that they have to. So it's another half season.
As opposed to, and which they reached the final, as opposed to Leon, who, not to take anything away from the Green Bellies, but it just shows
no
just
disrespect. I'm about to disrespect the hell out of you. All right, go ahead.
No, it's just Leon. It's just they have so much staff,
No, Leon has certainly played well, and obviously they're going to miss one of their goal scorers in Macias, and some boys ended up playing this match because of his 2 yellows against America. And
yeah, I think with Sambu back for the final, they should pack a more punch.
Yeah, and they'll be at home, and again, it's, the crowds at Leon are outstanding. So they'll have a really good crowd there in Bajío. And it looks like, if as long as they don't give up a late goal here at Tigres, they're going to have to still have everything to play for. Although they haven't scored a goal in over 180 minutes now at this point, because they were blanked against America at home, and just by virtue of the better positioning in the standings rule, tiebreaker rather, they advanced to the final. I noticed that America fans were pretty. There was like, well, what are you going to do? They couldn't even blame the refs for the loss there. And
No, but and even lost though, it was 1-1 global,
whatever makes you feel better.
No, but I'm just saying it's kind of harsh to say this team it was a fracaso, and you exit in the semifinals. You weren't really outplayed or humiliated or embarrassed or none of the above.
I mean, let's face it. Since Miguel Herrera has been in America, they've been a semifinal of better team, and for America fan not to accept that as good enough to coach their. You know what I've always found funny about American fans? Why is it that their team is like the greatest team in the world, and they have to be refereed different? You have to referee them differently because they're so special. And then they get jobbed by the ref or whatever, which happens to everybody, by the way, not just them. And then they act like the biggest, like the third world, third division banana team fans. That the referees are against them. That it's some conspiracy. It has been for years.
Yeah, I think Comet fans, I think they need another 13-year drought.
Yeah, are you like the Red Priestess? Are you putting a curse on America right now, Joel?
No. I emptied a bowl. I had my dog's bowl. It had water. I just emptied it down the sink. I didn't think it was gonna make that much noise though.
No, I was so you can let them have a 13-year drought as you're pouring water down the drain.
Yeah,
water that you wouldn't even give your dog. That's how much you hate him. It all makes sense now. I have to remember this moment, Joel, 13 years from now. Remember that time when you put the 13-year curse on Blue America. we will remember.
No, they've been doing a really good job of managing that team. With Ame, I don't think the fans have.
Aunque te duela, Joel, aunque te duela.
Yeah, no, you know what? It doesn't. It used to at one point. You know, back in the early years.
Yeah. What about this one? Does this hurt?
What was that? I don't hear anything, John.
You didn't hear that?
No, what was that?
Really? You didn't hear that?
I don't hear anything. It's not coming through.
You're not hearing that, Joel? Are you just playing with it?
No. I literally can't hear anything.
Hang on a second. See, now I'm confused because if you're hearing me, you should be hearing that. So, huh. Well, that's interesting. I'm going to figure out what's going on with that. Well, the game's over. 1-0. Gignac goal in the 21st minute is the difference. Tigres beats Leon 1-0 in the first leg. Second leg Sunday night in Leon. They will again. There will be a winner. There will be a loser. There will be a tiebreaker. It'll be determined on the field.
Yes, there will be a new champion.
And indeed it will. I am thoroughly confused.
What happened? The soundboard not.
Well, oh, you know what? I bet you it's going through my computer right now, not through the soundboard. You still hear me, Owen?
Yes.
Or do you hear me better here? Oh, it's John. Do you hear me better here? Hola, hola, hola. Hola, 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 hola. Hola, hola, hola.
Hello.
Joel.
Yes.
All right. So, are you hearing me? Hello. You can hear me right now?
I could hear you. You sound a bit far to me.
Does this sound better?
What sound better?
So I sound exactly the same.
Slightly better, yeah.
What about now? Hola, hola. Is it the same?
Same.
That's so weird. All right. Let me give me like 5 minutes. I'm gonna get this straightened out. So we'll be back in a few minutes, folks.
Hola, 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 hola. Hola, hola.
What's going on, John? I could hear you good.
Yeah, can you hear me here? There we go.
Yeah, that's better now. There it goes.
That's what I was trying to play. I was trying
Parchis.
to play it like
Yeah,
4
I could
times.
hear Parchis now.
Jeez, I'm so mean to
Yeah,
them. So mean to you, Joel. I have to admit, I'm just
can be. You can be.
yeah. But all right. So where were we?
Yeah.
So I apologize for that little technical issue. So I must have sounded terrible this whole show. Well, Joel, I think it's time. Actually, we should probably kind of do a little reboot here because the game is over, as you know. Tigres winning 1-0. I'm sure that folks that were watching the game have now tuned in here over on our YouTube channel to listen to the CantinaMX podcast. So we welcome you guys for joining us. We were on kind of halfway live, halfway not so much in the second half of the match, but we are live with you now again. Post match here between Tigres and Leon and the CantinaMX podcast. My name is John Jagu. Joining me is the other gentleman of the gentleman's agreement, Joel Aceves, joins me as well.
Greetings, John. Greetings once again. We just had a pretty intense final, uh, battle of the beasts at the Tiger Dome, and it was Tigres edging out a 1-0 win off a Gignac goal that not only gives them the win, but ties them with,
The Tiger Dome, huh?
yes, that's what I like to call it. He's tied now for most goals ever. If he scores one more goal, he's going to be the club's all-time leading goal scorer, which, Lord forbid any accident, Imagine he's riding home and he crashes.
What
you
what
know.
why on earth would you bring that up, Joel?
No, I'm saying it would have something like that would have to happen.
Yeah.
Uh, but I mean, I think he's tied with the club for like 2 more years, so he's already a historical for them. Probably, probably regard him as their greatest player ever. Top
Gignac?
three at least.
Really?
Yes, yes. For the Tigres faithful, yes. Have all these kids. They're naming all these kids after him. He's a big deal. He's sort of a big deal over there.
Interesting. I didn't realize that Gignac would be considered the all time greatest Tigre.
Yeah, because he has it all, man. You know, he came in. The team has gotten, they've been filling up the trophy cabinet. He has the name, the looks, total package.
One thing that always impressed me about Gignac was in the first 3 months that he was in. Well, I guess at that point it had been like 4 or 5 months in Mexico. They were able to do an interview with him where he spoke Spanish pretty damn well after that Pumas match. and that was incredibly impressive. And I think that goes a long way into. It just goes to show you just the kind of professional he is,
Yeah,
Gignac.
and he showed his commitment because he could have left. He had his offers, but he stayed. He chose to stay.
Yeah, I mean, Monterrey is a very nice place to live. Of that, there is no question. I mean, or let me put it this way: it can be a really nice place to live.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of lana in Monterrey, Joel. Lana that you and I don't have.
No, not yet. Just waiting for the
Waiting for
Cantina sponsorship to kick in, and then
That's right.
we'll be moving on up.
That's right. That is exactly right. So 1-0 Joel after 90 minutes. Head back to Leon on Sunday night, and Leon gets a couple of their players back. They won't get Jota Macias back, but they're only down 1-0 Joel. It's still anybody's. This is this is just a little pinprick for Leon. They should be able to get at least one goal back in the
Yes.
when they play down in Nadu. Is it the Lions Den? Is that where Leon plays?
Yes, sir. The Camp Nou. The Camp Nou. But I mean, I'd rather call it Lions Den. I don't think that there's probably not any more Basques left in Guanajuato. But there was some that already got weeded out.
Well, the no can is just a nickname. I think like officially it's the Estadio León or whatever it is. By the way, a World Cup two-time World Cup stadium.
No, but I'm sure part of that nickname was, you had that influx of Spaniards coming in, and I wouldn't be surprised if they were owners or they played a big role in all of the football in that area.
Right.
Same with Atlante, got that Barcelona colors, and they were calling it, their stadium was a Blaugrana.
No, it was the Azulgrana.
Azulgrana, but that's where that's basically where it comes from.
Well, sure.
From the.
Maybe just maybe Joel, and frankly I'm surprised and a little disappointed that you didn't think about it. Maybe Barcelona is copying Atlante. Did you ever think of that?
No, I don't. Barca had been in Mexico. There's a pretty good story. I think it was during the Spanish Civil War, and they needed funds, and they were about to lose the team, and they did a tour of Mexico, and I think even in the U.S., and I think that's how they managed to raise money and stay afloat.
Barcelona, future home of Kylian Mbappe.
Oh, is this more of a done deal than damn to Chivas?
No. This is just my personal my personal gut feeling.
What about that? The legit, or how do you say it? That Ajax youth.
Who would you rather have?
Oh man, I don't know. I'll probably. I don't know. They're both really good. I'm not. I don't follow Barca, so I don't. Can't make a decision for that. If I say for my team, like hypothetical, I would probably go with. And I can't say his name, Yon. It's the legit, the lit.
Oh, Delight.
Delight. Sounds like the '90s. There was a song in the '90s called Delight.
Yeah, it was a group. It was they sang "Grooves in the Heart."
Yes, there you go. Grooves in the Heart. Yes, there you go.
I would play the song Joel, because it's on my phone, but
it's actually on your phone. Wow.
I don't want to have any copyright. Yeah, actually, there's a.
So now every time I see Delight, I'm gonna think Groove is in my heart. Every time I see that guy, but he gives this great speech. He's 19 and he's giving this speech to the fans, and it's like, wow, you could just see his great leadership skills coming. Just screams captain, and it screams like, that dude he's gonna be in the limelight for some years.
Yeah, do you think was he giving him one of these? Was it
what I do have are a very particular set of skills.
Not that eerie.
No?
Not that eerie. Just
Okay.
very passionate. Just very passionate and
Uh,
very sure
oh,
of himself
was
and
it was,
just
was it as
pumping up.
passionate?
Not
Was it
excuse
this
me.
passionate? Was it this passionate, Joel?
Yes.
Really?
Tano Tano Pasman.
It was it was Basmanic. Basmanico.
Pasmanic, but in a positive light, because Pasman is in the negative. He's in,
Tres pases seguiditos, tres pases, no te pido 28 pases seguidos como Barcelona.
Oh, that is just so good. And it's true. Can you just put three passes together, please? Just three.
that's how I felt of the under 20 earlier today.
Yeah, they puro balonazo, Joel. Puro balonazo. And they just were so hurried that think that they had to do something. And they were just it was disappointing. Aside from the result, I'm okay with losing a match. It's it's youth things, but at least play well.
Yeah, that they definitely did not. I just felt the strategy was wrong. I've seen Mexico outplay, at least with short passing and ball possession. I've seen them in the past. We've seen them go up against Italy and hold their own. You know,
Right.
but just and even like in the '02, because that Italian team, a lot of those players went on to be the World Cup champions in '06. But in '02, you saw how Mexico outplayed them. Where you had the Italians telling the Mexicans to back down. We're both qualified, and asking the ref for the time. Uh, so I mean, we Mexico's done it. They could do it when they play when they play what they're good at. Keeping the ball grounded, a lot of short passes. Uh, they
Well, I
they
mean, Italy was they a lot of high pressure. The first goal came from a mistake in like what was like the third minute or whatever it was. It was very early in the match, and Italy they were just bigger, faster, and stronger, and they just were out hustling. They was just, yeah, it was just out hustling, and like I mentioned earlier, for the when we were on live during the match, Mexico cannot play that slow offensively and then leave that much space defensively against a team like that, and they did that the entire match.
I want to know what these Italian players are eating. We need that. We need some of that clenbuterol
Yeah, super
pasta,
super pasta.
super pasta with clenbuterol sauce, some pesto clenbuterol. Man, these guys were just taller and stronger, man. I don't know if this is just because throughout the years the Mexican team has gotten bigger. If you go
True.
back, the average height, I would say, the average height went from about 5'7" to about 5'11". With there's at least now you'll have at least 5 or 6 players at 6 feet or taller. Supposed to before where there'll be like two or three. Now there's more than that. But I don't know with this squad. I didn't check. I didn't check the heights.
There
But
were
man,
there were quite a few chaparritos. So, but I mean, the Italian guys were just monsters. They were much bigger and they played bigger, and they were knocking Mexicans off the ball consistently. And again, it's not the entire match. They did have their moments occasionally when they would settle down and do as Joel mentioned, possess the ball and knock it around and then try and make something happen. But unfortunately, that just didn't happen enough for Mexico. And a lot of that is a credit to Italy. I mean, they are who they are, always strong defensively, and Mexico, for whatever reason, just wasn't prepared to play a game at the pace that the Italians were playing, and the player who you would thought would have been most used to it, Diego Lainez, seemed to be the one that was the most affected by it. And Joel, why do you think that was?
I'm gonna place it on the coach, Yon. You know, I think he read the game wrong. Supposed to put players in a position to succeed. I don't think that we saw that tonight. Or I mean,
No, he had Lainez playing out on the wing, so Lainez is having to use, more speed than skill on the ball. And it seemed like I mean, this in my opinion, the better play for Lainez, especially considering that he's not as fit as he maybe should be, is to play him a little, maybe like as a withdrawn forward or even as a 10. Where, I mean, he's wearing the number 10, for God's sakes. Let him play as the 10. And yeah, it didn't happen. He's out on the wing.
yeah, and then sometimes you put like a player to like safeguard him.
Yeah.
Seen it before.
An enforcer.
There you go, sir.
His defense. See that's why when Hector Herrera would play with Salcido on the national team, Mexico would look terrible because Salcido would not do Salcido wanted to push up like Herrera does. So no one was doing the work defensively. So when they would put Chaton in, all of a sudden you have someone, doing the defensive work, getting the balls back. Hector Herrera looks a whole lot better because now he can push up without having to sacrifice as much defensively. And so Mexico did. It was, and the player that could have done that, and I probably would have done that was Jonathan Rodriguez. And for whatever reason, Monterrey said no. I guess they thought that they were going to be in the final, which I understand.
Yeah.
But to me, it's like then yeah, it's it makes you wonder why they're playing this tournament so early in the calendar year.
Yeah, I mean, but this to their credit, and we mentioned it earlier, this Italian team was missing some of their key players as well. So man, ouch.
Well, I mean, agreed, but let's not pretend that Italy doesn't have a pool of about 50 players that could do pretty well on the U20 team. So even missing out on a few key players doesn't necessarily mean that the guys behind them are like just awful. So there is that as well. Joel, we do have now that the season's over and we have a tournament coming up in a couple of weeks. So do we have some news, Joel? It's I personally think that this news is siren worthy, and just information that's come out over the past 24 hours or so that the Irving Lozano is not going to play in the Gold Cup for Mexico. And frankly, I think that that's actually, for Irving, I think it's good news because I think that he could have played. And I think that if maybe he hadn't been having as good a run as he had again in Holland, he probably would have played. But, they're getting ready to make a pretty big chunk of money with him. So let him have that. And I think Tata Martino, understood that. And I think that he probably said, you know what, go get better. He's not even staying in, and he's back in Holland. Go ahead. So he's going to finish his rehab under the very close watch of PSV Eindhoven to make sure that he is 100% fit when they're getting ready to pull the trigger on a pretty decent transfer for him.
Yeah, no, I don't blame him.
Yeah, I
don't
blame
want to lose a transfer for coming in here and then, getting re-injured against Martinique.
Exactly.
On a bad field or what have you. Oh man. Yeah, no, I mean, Mexico plays this Gold Cup. I mean, twice every cycle. I don't see a big deal with players not wanting to compete in it. It just gets tiresome, especially for some of these guys that they don't get the summer off.
Right.
And they could burn out. I saw it happen to like Luis Hernandez where, he was a late bloomer, but he was on a roll. And this dude never had any time off. He was just playing year round till eventually by the, what was it, the '02 World Cup? Oh man, he was just, he shouldn't have even been in the squad. He was not the same. He was no longer the matador.
Yeah, I mean, Hector Herrera hasn't had a summer off since 2011.
Yeah, there. Yeah, 20, see, so I mean, how can we blame him for wanting the summer off and trying to secure, which could be his last chance to play at a pretty good club, in a more competitive league.
Right.
At that, yes.
Yeah, I mean,
So
exactly, and he is injured, and but it's an injury that he can recover fully from, and so yeah, let him. And I think more than anybody else, I think Tata understands that, and Tata's like, I'm not gonna, not for this tournament, I'm not gonna risk you. What's the point? So I'm pretty sure that was a pretty easy decision, and what it does, Joel, is it opens the door for one Rodolfo Pizarro to play that role, and also Orbelin Pineda, who's also on the list. So a couple of guys have a pretty big break that they can see. Let's see who takes advantage of it.
yes, I do think this cup will be Pizarro's to shine. I think he's gonna be with so many players missing. It's a perfect opportunity for him, to take the spotlight, to show what he's capable of. And he does have that quality. He has that skill, and I do think he's going to be one of the stars of the tournament. And I think he's going to try to cement his position there for this upcoming cycle, for the tournaments and qualifier and whatnot. So I think it starts for Pizarro this tournament, especially if Tata plays him where he plays best, as opposed to JCO.
Who wanted him to be who knows what? Probably a sweeper.
Yeah, I remember him complaining, saying, "I just can't play good in that spot." And JCO was like, he just took his red pen. He took his pen with what's that pen that has like 5 colors and you click on it?
Oh, the whatever.
Yeah, he put it on red and just scratched his name off, dude.
Pizarro.
Hey, that's it for you, dude.
Yeah.
You're off, dude. You're off. You're in my shit list now.
Now, the other guy who's not going to be so that's Pizarro that's out. We talked to Hector Herrera, who, again, he's a free agent. Why on earth would he risk injuring himself? And I don't blame him one bit. I just don't. And the other thing, Joel, is that there's not going to be a Confed Cup. So what is the carrot for Mexico to play this tournament with their gigantic company? And I think that's one of the reasons why some of these players are taking some of the positions that they are, because I'm guessing that the primas aren't good compared to the stuff that's coming in, and I'm sure that the players probably have a big beef with that.
Yeah, exactly. And I think in the past, that's also one of the big reasons to come in, and you have all these sponsorship deals and, promotions to fulfill. But I think with some of these older guys that are already well established, like the Chicharos and the Velas, they just don't care about that anymore, because they have, they're pretty secure now. Their futures are pretty secure. Vela could retire today and live a comfortable life. Same with Chicharo. Not, and then it's more for the younger guys that are still trying to earn enough money that they could have a living post soccer.
Right.
Yeah, we talked in one of the podcasts, I don't know if it was with you or with Chiquis, and they're saying how, for a lot of these guys, because they don't manage their money right, and you end up seeing them at the fan fest outside of the Molero games, and they'll be like at the State Farm, booth, and you go in and you pay $5 to get a picture, or or they already got paid. They just have to wear the State Farm shirt, or they got
Right.
that McDonald's boot camp where they bring in all these little kids and then they're kicking the ball around. And if you're like a retired star, a lot of these dudes don't want to be doing that. That's that's out of necessity. It's like it's like,
Sure.
oh man, I have to pay the bills because I ended up buying this house, or I have this boat and the taxes are just killing me now.
You know,
The upkeep,
as
the
Patrick Ewing,
upkeep is
famously said years ago, Joel, it's true. We make a lot of money, but don't forget we spend a lot of money too.
yeah. I mean, you're paying taxes or upkeep. Just if you got a huge house or a number of houses, you have to pay upkeep unless you want them to start falling apart. So yeah, all of that adds up. That's why, like here at the Cantina, we don't, when players cash out, we don't criticize them, man.
Absolutely not.
You got some kid playing since he's 10 or 12, and he finally gets this contract where he's gonna secure what, anywhere from like 12 million, like in wages,
Right.
you know, like why not take it,
Well,
Yeah, as a
here's the
fan,
deal for me, Joel.
yeah,
Is that these guys don't owe you anything. They certainly don't owe me anything. They don't know anybody anything. And especially when it comes to national teams and all the ancillary stuff. They just it's not the military. You're not turning your back on your country or any of that stuff. It's just it's puro espectáculos. I mean, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I mean, it sucks. Yeah. I mean, would we want to have Carlos Vela on the team? Absolutely. Just to watch him play more than anything else.
yes,
I mean, you get to watch him play there in Los Angeles. I know you go every week, Joel. I know that you pretend that you don't, but I know you do. I know you've been. I know you go.
I'm waiting for Chicharo to join him.
Chicharo is coming to. Chicharo actually wants to go to Spain.
He wants to go to Spain. Well, he's got that bug, maybe that revancha. Um, who knows, man? Who knows?
I think, I think he'll do real well in Spain if he goes to Spain. I think it'll suit him well.
I think so too, but I think it depends on the coach and his teammates, and if he's that guy that if you provide good service, he'll deliver.
Yeah.
If you give him the ball and expect him to do it himself, and
Although he has gotten better,
good luck with that.
at that. But it's not his game.
No, yeah, it's not his fault. But if you put the ball there, you give him the good pass, this guy will put it in, man. Fits with his face, with his butt cheek,
Whatever it takes.
whatever. He'll find a way, but he'll put it.
That's right.
He'll get it in.
That was pretty amazing when in his first year at the Premier League, he scored with his head, with the back of his head, with his face, with his foot, with his back heel. I mean, he had with left foot, right foot. It was pretty amazing.
Yeah. Was it that one first year where he's in front of the porteria and he hits it with the ball? He kicks it. He kicks the ball with his foot, but the ball goes straight up and hits him in the face.
Right, and it still goes in.
It goes in. Oh man, that was something else.
Boy, he had a charmed season that season, man. He was great, man. He was, he helped Manchester United make the Champions League final, and was instrumental in making that happen.
Yeah, just bad luck on him that he got injured right before Sir Ferguson went on to retire.
Right.
So he had that one down season.
But in the third
other
season,
dude
in
comes
Sir
in.
Alex's last year, he played really well. He was back to playing really well.
This new guy, though, the coach came in and just erased him, and it seemed just out of preference, I still didn't understand why he would do that. If you had a player that's delivering, even as a sub, it was like a super sub. and he just took him out. I was like, what? I don't.
Yeah, I didn't understand that either. Frankly, it was. I don't think Chicharito understood it, and it was
Yeah,
the guy. And then what was the worst thing that could happen to Chicharito when he goes to West Ham is that the coach gets fired and he's the one that they hire to replace.
that's true, man. That's true. That was just some bad luck on Chicharo's part. That all of that. He went through some hardships there, some just bad luck. Same at Real, since he was at loan, they were just giving him very little opportunities.
Well, again, he put him in the Champions League
He did.
semifinals. So
He did. I mean, he would score or get penalties, or his numbers were good. But he wasn't getting, like, he would play 2-3 good games and then they would bench him for a whole month. So that must have been really hard.
but the thing was, I mean, who was he going to replace? Benzema? That was the one going to happen.
Yeah, but I mean,
know?
Benzema had a drop in form, which he could have easily.
And Chicharito came in and played well, but when Benzema came back,
Yeah, well, I mean,
he was back.
Yeah, but in big part because they all,
I mean,
he had
Chicharito was Benzema insurance. He wasn't there to take his space. He was there. He was there to play when the other guy couldn't.
Yeah, but if given the shot, I think he would have done a hard push to bench that guy.
Yeah, well, ni fu ni fa.
Yeah, it's already in the books. So who knows what's up with Chicharo? I know Guardado was talking about playing in MLS, so we'll see. We'll see what happens.
He did say today that in the future that's something he wants to do, but he's going to stay at Betis, so he's going to play at Betis at least one more.
Betis, or at least, yeah. And then we have Ochoa who's leaving Belgium.
Well, does he finally have his Euro passport? Because if he doesn't have his Euro passport, then where's he going to go?
I think he just got it, so I don't know. I think he got. I think was it Spanish citizenship? I don't know. It might not mean anything though if the offers aren't there.
Now, Joel, in the U20 World Cup, Mexico is in Group B with Italy, Ecuador, Japan, and of course Mexico. Ecuador and Japan tied 1-1. So Mexico now has to. I think they play. Well, frankly, I'm not sure who they play next.
I think they play Japan next, and they close against Ecuador. Yes.
Yes, they play Japan next, close against Ecuador. Again, so are we looking? So what are we looking for here? Are we looking for? Do you want to see the coaching be better, or do you want to see the player? I guess I want to see everything be better at this point because it looks like the coaching and the players.
I would say this is their must-win game against Japan, and then I think Ecuador is going to be one of their tough games.
Right now, again, it's because it's a 24-team tournament. All is not lost. If Mexico loses, I mean, if you want to advance. So I guess that's my question to you, Joel, is that what is more important to you at a tournament like this? Do you want to see? Are you like do you want to see the advancement of the team, or do you want to see the desarrollo of the individual player and how they play as part of that team? What is more important?
I think it goes hand in hand. If the team is playing good, then yeah, the results are gonna be there. I don't buy this whole the desarrollo. I saw Numeritos tweet. I need to get back at him. He made 2 tweets, Numeritos, and it's been a while since I've put him to task with some of the stuff he says.
El Numeritos Harrison?
Indeed. And he's talking about is to develop players, but no, it's not, man. I don't see the selección as to develop. The selección is for the best players, for the best players of their respective group to go and compete. And you're going, especially in a tournament, this is not an amistoso, this is the tournament. So you're going there to compete. So I get that mentality though, but I just don't apply to it. I just, my philosophy is not, it's not there, man. I mean, if you're developing, that's what, when you're going through your club and all that,
So
that's where you're getting
you want the
developed.
best of both worlds. You want to see the development of the player, and you want them to get results.
Well, I mean, no, I'm gonna clarify. You you're under 20 because you're the best in that age group. You're the best. So
Okay.
you have to go and prove it now. You know, that's where I see it. So no, I don't see this whole thing as you're going there to develop. I still remember the Hugo Sanchez thing, his quote. It's always stuck with me when he gets to Atletico and he says, "I'm here to learn," and they're like, "No, you're not. You're here to contribute. We didn't bring you to teach you how to play. We brought you because of what you could offer the team," and he ended up offering a lot. He understood that right away.
Well, he learned that he was needed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I always think about what Profe says about the youth systems in this country, where the elite teams are, the parents go to them, not because they've been able to, send the kids into whatever. They go because they've won trophies. So,
Yeah.
well, if you're
Well,
winning trophies, it has to be good. So I guess that's my question. Would you rather see, as one of our fellow folks posted earlier on one of our many chats that I can't keep track of, that he didn't really care about the result. He wants to see how the players play on the pitch. How
yeah,
they actually play.
well,
But you're saying if they play well, then chances are pretty high that they're going to win.
yes, but I'm gonna say this: the whole trophy stuff, and as far as youth, I would say then, because I'll change the philosophy of how I see the game. I'll say from under 17 to like the under 10, those age groups. Then yeah, I don't think that should be the most important thing, that you're in a team to win a trophy, because those are the formative years. So then
Right.
yeah, I wouldn't prioritize a campeonato, but we're looking at like under 20, under 23. So we have a player like Macias. He's already known. Look what he did with Liga MX. He was the top scoring Mexican in Liga MX. He's already competing. He's already a professional. So the whole development thing is like what he's you know he's not at the under 20 to keep developing. He's under there to help them win a trophy.
Hmm.
The only thing I say with the downside is that you just have him, and then I know a bunch of dudes that don't have the amount of playing time or competitive matches, and I think that's what ends up hurting Mex. And then you saw like how a lot of these guys from the Italian team play in Serie B, but I would say that's like more competitive,
Well, sure. Of course, it's
than
more.
Liga de Ascenso,
Well,
where you
that's the
only have
problem.
like four
That's the
teams.
problem, Joel, is that they don't play
Yeah,
in Liga de Ascenso. They need to play in Liga. You know,
yeah.
why can't the U20 teams just be part of the Liga de Ascenso?
I don't know, man. I don't.
And then that way, when they have a home game, they can play like the the undercard before
Yeah,
the.
that would be good. But they did those under 20. You know, the federation made these youth leagues.
Well, that's
But
fine. What I'm saying is, if you make Liga MX, your sub-20 plays the Ascenso. Period. Period.
yeah,
I mean, the Ascenso needs, they need the bodies.
yeah. Well, I mean, they had it for a long time, where basically, what was it, like late 90s, early 2000s, where the majority of the Liga de Ascenso teams were pretty much sucursales. They were pretty much the reserve teams for all the first division, and I get it why they got rid of it. It all comes down to investment, and they wanted owners that were going to invest. built stadiums and whatnot. But yeah, there's no reason why you can't expand it. Make it regional if you have to, and then just add the teams that could add their youth squads into the tournament.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's something that that I think should happen, especially if they're so desperate to have teams in the ascenso. Then it would seem to make sense. Now, I've always thought that this tournament, that the U20, that if you're good enough to play professionally on a team, then you don't need to play this tournament.
Yeah.
I could be wrong though.
No, you're right. I agree with you, because like player like Macias, he could be playing a league championship, right now.
Right.
Which and I was saying, if I was Leon, I would have not let him go. Especially seeing the season he was having. No, he's staying here. But I'm pretty sure that's a Grupo Pachuca decision. There's already rumors that one of the PSV, one of their top scouts is at the under 20, following the selección closely.
Right.
So there's that. Yeah. Well, Yon, it's getting about that time for me to wrap it up.
Yeah, it's a time to say goodnight, Joel.
Yeah.
Well, Joel, I can't let you go with at least hearing it at least just once before you go.
Okay, I know.
Just once.
We need to do a pod, because there's a lot of Chiva news coming in, and we could at least do one. I would like to do one for a couple teams though, heading into the next liguilla, where we could at least do a good 20-30 minutes, and then just talk about where the team's coming from, what they're doing, where they're headed, what we're expecting from them. And I think that would be a fun thing to do.
Not only that, Joel, but we have our 200th episodes coming up.
Oh man, we need to line up something for that.
We'll have to have a big guest for our 200th.
Yes, we do, sir.
Well, to figure. No, I think you're right though. That would be, we could have just a as deep a dive as we've ever had on the CantinaMX podcast, and go into some like interdimensional level Chivas talk with some of the folks that we have on the podcast. Yeah, so that would be, I would love to honestly. I would be an impartial observer and moderator.
No, but I want to do it for at least 5 teams, because we're seeing some interesting stuff coming in with these teams that how they're going to rebound into this next season. So of course you have Cruz Azul already making moves. I think they pretty much have a Paraguayan international ready to sign on the dotted line, and then America as well. I'm expecting them to go after a killer striker. I don't think Matas Uribe has lived up to expectations, and that French guy, I keep forgetting his name. He was supposed to be Gignac,
I think his name was
for America.
Lesoniac.
There you go, man. He was just in vacation, man. He just came to.
He always got hurt. He would play, and then he'd break his collarbone. He'd be out for 8 weeks. And then he'd come back, and he'd have like a 3rd-degree ankle. No, seriously, he just had terrible injury luck.
He'll be at the French Riviera, wishing team luck.
That's right. He was rehabbing in Huatulco.
Yeah, so I think they're gonna go after. I expect them to try to make a big signing. Try to bring in some big name and some guy that could put him in back of the net. And so and then Chivas as well.
Well, I mean, the reality is for America, Joel, is that like their last 4 or 5 striker signings have all kind of been duds.
They have. I think that's been one of their downfalls You know, if they've had that one power striker, I think they would have won a bit more games.
See, Nico Castillo showed his true Puma loyalty by just narrowly, at least making it believable that he was missing, on some of those shots. Just narrowly missing.
Well, and Pumas, though, man. Speaking Pumas as well. They just got a new coach, Michel, and we'll see what's going on right there. He has been talking a lot about Cantera, so seems like there might not be any loosening of the coin purse and bringing in refuerzos, which I think Pumas has been needing for a while.
No, I think they're gonna do both. I mean, he's
You
already
think
talked.
they will?
Yeah, they're gonna do both.
Well, they need to, man. They need to. So yeah, there's a few teams that we could highlight going into this next season. Because now, and especially now with with the announcement of FIFA that it's at 32, I do think qualifiers are going to be a bit more special now. Because at 48 was like, oh man, just give it to Mexico, man. You
Right.
know, if you expand that many more tickets, because even at Mexico's worst, they still find a way to qualify.
Right, and if Mexico's worse, they
Yeah,
but the way they're doing it, I mean, obviously we've seen, like you said, with Mexico in 2014 and the U.S. in 2018, and there ain't no guarantees. I mean, CONCACAF has teams that are good enough to beat you on any given day.
yes, no, that is true, especially at their home venues.
Even at the away venues too. I mean,
Yeah, it's happened.
when
But I
was
mean,
the
these
last
teams
time
are.
Mexico scored more than 4 goals against a team at the Azteca
Yeah,
in a hexagonal qualifier? It hasn't
yeah,
happened in a long time.
no, they've gotten better about preparing for those type of games. You know, if it's traveling to Mexico a week or what is it, the day off to try to counter effects. But they found ways to prepare for those games.
Right, and I have to admit, even as much as Osorio, what he had his huge uh, detractions, I guess, for his game day decisions. The dude prepped like a champ, man, and he understood that
Who he did.
he didn't have guys that were playing in Mexico City every week like coaches had in the past. So they'd go train in Cuernavaca before they'd even go to Mexico City. Because nine of his guys are playing in Europe, so they're not playing there. Most of them play at sea level, so
Yeah,
you can't have those guys just show up and
and,
play.
and they're not playing those midday games with the hot temperature. They usually play night games, cool temperature.
Yeah, that's one thing that Chiquis pointed, like saying how hot it gets in Mexico City. So Mexico has never made a decision to play in Mexico City because of the temperature. The temperature. It's not part of the equation. Because if they wanted to play in the heat, they would never play in Mexico City.
Yeah.
They'd play in Veracruz, or they'd play in Monterrey. They'd play
Oaxaca.
Exactly in Chiapas, and
Take them
Mérida.
to the jungle.
Yeah. They like the smog and they like the altitude. I mean, if it happens to be, it hardly ever gets hotter than 80, 85 degrees, and especially not when they're playing qualifiers. So it's just not that big a deal.
Así es, Johan.
Okay, well, I know you got to get going, so we will allow it here. And again, thank you all for the last couple of shows filling in. But we got a big summer ahead of us, Joel, with Gold Cup, with Copa America,
League of Nations.
League of Nations. We have the Women's World Cup. We have the Estufa of the season start. I mean, the season starts in 2 months. It's not like we're taking this gigantic break. By July 15th, we're gonna have Liga MX again.
Yes, and we have an ongoing under-20 World Cup.
That's right. And then there's a Toulon tournament where some other young players are playing, and we'll see how it all pans out. So Joel, before I let you go, and I'm sure we'll do this again, but who who hoists on Sunday.
Ouch. You know what? I had León, but from what I saw today, I think Tigres will lift that trophy, and I wouldn't be surprised if Tuca says, "Ya estuvo, I'm out. Later, bitches."
I don't think so. I don't
You,
think so.
you think he's staying until 2020?
No le voy
I
a
mean,
decir
there's
que
not.
no sé.
I don't think there's nothing for him left to play. I mean, he went, you know. I mean, if I'm Tuca, that's it, man. I get on my Ferrari and I drive
Y
off
usted
into
no me
the
va a decir,
sunset.
¿qué carajo tengo que hacer?
uh, but I don't see him like fully retiring just as coach. I could see him probably being in the board, with Tigres, serving some type of position up there, similar to how La Puente is at Lobos.
Pumas, one of the two.
Well, if Pumas could bring him, I think that would be,
You know what?
phenomenal.
As a Pumas fan, to see Tuca, leave Pumas after winning a championship, no less, and go to Tigres and to see all the success he's had. I mean, don't think it's not just a little ass jack.
Yeah.
I'm really happy for Tuca. Don't get me wrong. he's
And he's working with his son, because I think his son is one of the guys responsible for the player transfers.
Amauri
Tigres.
Ferretti.
Another Amaury. But yeah,
I actually have no idea. I was just playing.
he was just playing. No, his son. I think he's involved with the player transfer. So that's that. He must have some connections established by now.
So, a good friend of mine, Jesus Mendoza, whom I like to call El Chuchiloco, lives in Monterrey, and his boss, I got to meet a few years ago. He was telling me that he actually rode on a flight from Monterrey down to Mexico City, sitting next to Tuca on the plane.
Oh,
They were both in primera clase way. Anyway, so he's like, well, I'm not going to ask him about soccer because he's like, the dude. Well, it turns out that Tuca's a huge racing fan, so they spent the whole hour talking racing.
car racing, like Formula One or
so just
NASCAR?
whatever, just racing.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Brazilians are big into that.
Yeah, they are. I had a couple of.
And I think in Monterrey is, if you're into racing and you live in Mex, I think Monterrey is one of the cities where you're gonna get a lot of action for that. So no wonder he's loving it over there.
So you say Tigres, so you're gonna. Tigres wins and Tuca says hasta luego.
It's just their depth, I think they're strong. And we saw how Valencia replaced Edu. Like damn.
Right.
And they're just covered in every spot. Leon I think you could see how much they missed Sambu and JJ Mack, and this time they have to remar contra la corriente, as they say.
So is JJ Mack? Is he the Chivas prince that was promised?
Yeah, he was. We just but and I'm gonna say this, it's not just Tiguera's fault, and here I am defending pretty much the Night King. I don't think it was entirely his fault. He was trying to do what was right for the team. He just gets the burn of it because he tried to send him to Zacatepec to cool things down, and he's like, you know what, I'm not. And Mac Macias did the right, he's like, I'm not going down divisions, I'm at this level to play in first. So that's where he gets a lot of blame, saying that he kicked him out because he didn't want to play with his team. I don't think that's the case. I know some of the players, some of the established players, had talked bad about him, and they already had just negative opinions. And it was, one thing that was leaked was a quote from Cota, who was talking to the teammates, because that's who they who Nacho, you know, if anybody knew Macias, it was Cota, who was at Chivas. So he told him, yeah, man, he comes across as conceited, but he's a good kid. He has good intentions, and he's very determined.
He was
You know?
begging cocktail waitresses 2 at a time. Players couldn't get a drink at the table. What's wrong with you?
But you had, so it wasn't just Higuera. It was also like the coaches that didn't give him a fair shot. Not just Cardoso, but also Almeida, and then the players, some of the established players, turning his back. So it's pretty sad to see how many, I could only describe as fuckery going on as Chivas to just hold down a player with that talent.
So they were doing it because they knew how good he was, that they were gonna take people's spots.
I don't know. I don't know so much about that. I say a combination of different things, but this is where we're not having a good general manager, comes into play. Because he would have stepped in and been like, "No, this is what's happening." He would have laid down the law.
Right.
But just not having one, that's like, it hurt the team.
Right. Well, there's no accountability with Chivas right now. It's a big mess, and it yeah. Oh, but I mean, we could do a whole show on Chivas, frankly.
Oh yes.
Sometimes our shows turn into these. I'm waiting for Profe Uribe to hop on.
He always comes to sweep.
That's right. He comes exactly. He's the. Now, do you bring him in, Joel? The Profe when you need to hold down a goal, or do you bring him in when you need a goal? Here at the end.
Profe, no, he's just that cambio you make to waste time. Like if you have the 4 minutes of extra time and you want to kill some of those minutes by doing a cambio.
Really?
Yes.
That is mean, Joel. That is. So he's the guy you bring in to hacer tiempo.
Pretty much to cool.
That's
to enfriar el partido. That's what I meant.
That is gacho. That is gacho.
Yeah, he comes in and then he could like fake an injury 1 minute in.
So he's the guy that comes in and taps the best player on the shoulder and tells him, "Oye, tu mamá," and whatever.
Yeah, kicks him in the shin or something with the.
I have to admit, I'm gonna have to agree with you, because usually when Profe comes in, I have to play this almost exclusively by the time he comes in.
Is that so? Who made you pope in his dump, huh?
Yeah.
So I think you might be right. No, but when we do have Chivas stuff, we had to make sure we have all members of the Chivas brain trust of the CantinaMX podcast need to be on that. What I think would be really fun, Joel, is to have a Chivas roundtable with other Chivas centric soccer personalities.
Yeah, I agree. I'll be willing to do that. I would probably be the only one defending Higuera at this point. Which not because I think he's doing good, but just because I feel that he's become the scapegoat.
So if Mbappe goes to Barcelona, then Joel, does that make it pretty obvious that Chofis will end up at Real Madrid?
I'm pretty sure, but I think Boy wants to keep him. He's already expressed his desire to maintain him at the club.
So You're not saying, Joel, that boy is a trophy chaser.
Yes, I am, and he might be the best thing to happen to trophies. I think if anyone could rescue him, he's gonna be the one.
Yeah. You know, that honestly is the biggest reason why I think that Tomas Boy uh, couldn't have picked a better time to be at Chivas, because he was a pretty decent 10 in his day. And if he can teach La Chofis to play anything like that, yeah.
Yeah, and we all saw how much better he looked in the few games. If anything we could rescue out of Boy's short tenure, it was Trophy's performance.
And Chofis wasn't playing on the wing; he was playing as a 10.
Yeah, he looked like he was beginning to look like his old self. So that's promising right there.
So maybe we can see Lainez do that in the upcoming match against Japan, where put him in the position where he can give you where he can succeed the most.
Hopefully, the under 20 guy is listening to our pod.
Well, I would expect he is. I would expect he is, because we joke about that here on the CantinaMX podcast, although in our hearts we all know it's true. But the reason that we joke about it is because we say stuff here, and then stuff happens that we said was going to happen.
Yeah, that has.
And we're not talking like, oh, well, they're going to win 2-0 and somebody wins 2-0. No, we're talking about administrative moves and just certain things that happen over a period of time. And yeah, it is pretty. Our track record is frankly pretty good.
Yes.
Although you did have to bring up the fact that I said that Leon was going to be done in by the curse. So thank you.
Yeah. No. I mean, we win some, we lose some, Yon. I do think that possibility was rather high, but Leon weathered through that storm.
Well, I think if Leon plays anybody other than TJ, then I think that it could have been rough.
Yeah, no, it would have. Definitely it would have. Because like we saw with America, at one point there was going to be the match they were going to play. I think the penultimate, what was it, the match week before the last one, I think that was the pairing.
Right.
And, it ended up in a draw, but who knows if you replay that match. They could have easily won it. I wouldn't say easily, but they could have. They showed they could have defeated the Lions.
No, they did. They should have. I mean, Frank. That's why I joke around with America fans with they wanted to say the referee influenced in the decision. Well, it influenced more in America's loss how many goals they missed.
Oh yeah,
because they missed a ton. And then that to me had a little bit more of an effect on the outcome of the result than a refereeing decision that could have or should have not been made or been made. So there is that. Well, Joel, you said you had to go. That was like 20 minutes ago, so we should probably cut you loose.
Yeah, no, this part could go for 3-5 hours.
Yes, it could.
Unfortunately, we do it really late.
All right. Well, you better get going. We don't want you to be late.
Yes. All right.
All right. Well, thank you all for joining us here on the CantinaMX podcast for Joel Aceves. My name is John Jagu. We will talk to you guys hopefully Sunday after the Liga MX final between Leon and Tigres. Talk to you all then. Bye.